Hi, Zizaran here with another Path of Exile video, and we're covering the part 1 of the Balance Manifesto, Flasks and Ailment mitigation, with defenses coming tomorrow, and the day after that we're going to be seeing all the aura nerfs. So that's what we're going to be covering here today, and really cool things. For example, the format has changed, where they're now showing the problem and their attempted solution, which is a really good format and communicates the changes a lot better. So let's start looking at it. It looks very short at the first glance, and then we have the spoilers, and they go into a long in-depth thing. They are trying to fix the long-term health of the game here, and a lot of the changes, honestly, as a super TLDR, Part 1, really good. Everyone seems mostly happy. I don't think there was any really bad changes here. There were a few minor ones that were a little bit but yeah, really good stuff here in the changes. They address the fact that we have a lot less ailment mitigation now. We're getting a lot more things that we can get immune to freeze, immune to chill, pretty much all across the board, both on gear and through potions. Those things on Life Flask, for example, that would be, for example, immune to freeze for 4 seconds if you were frozen. So you use it as a reactive thing. That now lasts 17 seconds. So you no longer have to be worried about instantly getting frozen again. So if you are opening a freeze flask, for example, a freeze strongbox, use the flask, then you're immune for 17 seconds. So really good here. You don't have to be worried about getting repeatedly hit by an ailment. So many things like Purity of Elements are now getting immune to all elemental ailments and loads of stuff like that. So much more avoidance on the tree, so much more on gear, and honestly, this is really good. They don't want to give it to us for free. Obviously before, you could very easily get it just by getting it on your flasks, right? You would have a shock immune, a freeze immune, and a bleed immune flask, and off you go. You can do pretty much all the content in the game. That is slightly harder now, but we have more of an investment that we can just get immune to. So really good. Obviously, and it's a stark comparison with 3.15 at the very first 2 days or whatever. We had 1 second of immunity reactively. Now we have 17. This is a buff. We have so many more flask modifiers. They're now based on item level. So now there is actually a reason to have item level 84 flasks. Normally I would have turned them off my filter by then, but now obviously there is a reason to collect high item level ones. We also have things like freeze immunity on the Pantheon, and the Pantheon got massively buffed. The biggest one was probably the Brine King, and for me, the biggest one is that the Yugul Pantheon is now 50% reflect immune. So huge buff for those of us that are challenged with reading. Loads of stuff on gear and flask too. Things like the avoid ailments on chest and shield and boots. They are buffed. They're a lot higher now. I'm assuming that the elevated shaper immune on boots, for example, will be 50% avoid ailment now. It might be 40, but at least the just tier 1 non-elevated is 35 now. So really good stuff there. There are new belt affixes. So you get 40% fast life recovery rate, mana recovery rate, fast charges gained. But my favorite one is the 12% increased effect. So obviously Flask effect extremely strong. So being able to get 12% effect on a belt, great. Another cool change is the hinder nearby enemies with 40% reduced movement speed for 4 seconds if used while not on full mana and life. And this is going to be particularly strong for Petrified Blood builds because it's very easy to stay most of the time not full life. So obviously it doesn't matter if you go full life by using the flask, you'll still get the 4 seconds of hinder. But generally on most of the Petrified Blood builds I've played, you would just use a movement ability and not be full life again. So extremely easy to pretty much always be missing some life here because leech effects won't be putting you to full life. I think that'll be a very cool avenue of defensive while mapping, of just hindering everything. Now, the only thing that matters here is what does nearby mean? Because nearby sometimes means this far away and sometimes this far away. They did buff Enkindling orbs. I think that is very boring. Enkindling orbs are so punishing because they don't let you have permanent uptime on them. So they could have pretty much doubled these with some exceptions. Some things probably would be a little bit too strong, but the fact that they are just an ultimate ability, you only get to use them twice in a boss fight, and obviously you don't get high uptime on them while mapping. Definitely some of this I would have seen to get a buff because Enkindling orbs in my opinion are pretty bad. Rangers are getting some sustain. They're going to be getting sustain from the they're going to get regen, which I think is down here. Getting life regen if you used a life flask in the past 10 seconds. Mana gained on hit with attacks if you used a mana flask in the past 10 seconds. So loads of like extra things for Ranger, obviously particularly targeting Raider and Raider and Deadeye, because they don't have the same sustain in a fight as a Pathfinder does. They're also doing a very big change to overtime flasks, and honestly, it can be summed up with this. Nice. They're halving the duration of how long the life flasks last, and that basically means that, well, before the life flask would do, is it 4 seconds or 6 seconds where it'd be slowly regaining your life? Now it's going to be recuperating that way faster. It's a huge buff, and it makes it less of an obvious choice that you have to get instant life flask to survive. Now, like, overtime flasks will be really, really good, and especially good against degens. Another really cool change as well is reduced curse effect on Shaper rings, and Kikasaru is up a lot. And with Catalyst quality, with 2 Shaper curse remove rings, you can get 96% curse reduction, which is more than enough to feel like you're basically curse immune, seeing as in the last patch, they also removed map curses used to have increased effect with them, which would have been, you know, pretty bad for that last 4%. But seeing as you can get to 96% now, that is basically curse immune. I would feel safe doing that on hardcore for the most part. And 1 Kikasaru and 1 node on the tree is enough to get curse immune, which is a really, really good change. So very cool changes. This really allows for a lot more like autonomy, or whatever the word is, of like how much power we have to choose where we get our immunities. There seems to be like a lot of things we have access to early, even during the campaign. So honestly, some really, really good changes. It makes me really excited for 3.16. I think 3.16 is going to be more the olive branch, where GGG are just trying to appease people, trying to make people a little bit happier, be like, okay, guys, we're sorry, we fucked up. Please come play our game again. 3.17, I think it's going to be the big, like, the tree trunk branch, where everyone's, dude, Pee-wee's back, let's go. Everyone's hyped and happy. But yeah, 3.16 honestly is shaping up to be really good. They are also teasing here at the end, gain fast charges when you suppress spell damage. So this could be the new Fortify for spellcasters. We don't know. We don't know what this means yet, but we probably get to find out later today. Very, very excited, and a lot of good changes. I would love to know, is there anything in particular that stood out to you that you really liked? And was there anything in these notes that you didn't like? Feel free to comment down below. And I hope you guys like these sum ups. I do have a raw reading that you can look at as well that we'll be uploading to YouTube if you just want to see my live reactions to reading. It's like an hour of reading or something. But loads of really cool stuff here. Looking forward to seeing the defensive buffs or nerfs. Probably buffs, right? Copium. Sub if you like the YouTube content. Thank you guys so much. But more importantly, try to die less than I do.